First question: in spite of various negative impacts of green revolution, there is a demand for new green revolution. Elaborate. Green revolution in India began in 1963 through the introduced of a high-yielding wheat crops variety by American agronomist Dr. Norman Borlaug. However, the term Green Revolution applies to the period from 1967, when it was widely adopted by the Indian farmer, to 1978, when it resulted in record grain output of 131 million tons, ranking India as one of the world's biggest agricultural producer and a member of an elite club of nations exporting food grains. It was a quantum leap from the bleak and humiliating years of our independence on PL 480, which sent by America. Although India had become self-sufficient in basic food grains, wheat and rice after Green Revolution, in recent years we have been facing recurrent spells of shortage in essential items like lentils, edible oils, sugars, and onions, resulting in their knee-jerk imports at exorbitant prices. Exports feel that if we do not focus immediately on increasing food grains by rationalizing priorities in the agriculture sector, we may be in for a rude shock of unmanageable food scarcity. It is really a multi-dimensional problem. Firstly, our population is growing exponentially, and so it is the demand of food. Secondly, under pressure of population and industrialization of land, under cultivation is continuously decreasing. Thirdly, in spite of all development, not only our agriculture but also the food distribution system is almost entirely dependent on climate. Come drought, excessive rains, floods, hailstorms, or any vagaries of weather, and there are prophets of doom and mushrooming all over with predicts of food scarcity, and rising prices. Fourthly, we are still unable to provide assured irrigation cover to a large part of the cultivable land. And lastly, in spite of Green Revolution, we have not been able to sustain the growth of agricultural production to match our requirements, and limitation of inputs, and sadly, there has hardly been any remarkable research by agricultural scientists to achieve it. The last mentioned factor holds the key to solving the problems. Time has come to launch the second Green Revolution to provide long-term food security to the nation, and it is the direction in which agriculture scientists and institutions need to focus. But here arises a pertinent question: is it fair to say that with all the infrastructure and expertise available to agricultural institutions and universities, they have not contributed to the technology of agriculture? Yes, they most certainly have, by developing new seed strains, equipments and techniques, etc. But all this was done before also during the Green Revolution. What we really need now is to accept that some crucial inputs of traditional agriculture are getting scarcer after and as a consequence of first revolution, and we have to reduce our dependence on them and research on increasing productivity with the handicap. These inputs are very basic in nature. Their hand their land and water. The storage will pose the real challenge to another green revolution, and we will do well to remember that it was precisely this input, especially water, which was taken for granted and exploited to the hilt with improved seeds and chemical fertilizers during Green Revolution. In the present scenario, not only is cultivable land sinking, water availability is also premium. They have also almost dried out rivers and are emptying groundwater reservoirs by reckless extraction, extensive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides is polluting not only surface water resources but groundwater too. It sounds a paradox, but agriculture is now creating an unprecedented crisis for environment. This trend has to be reversed. The roadmap for the next green revolution is therefore quite clear. We will have to develop techniques which would deliver more crop for each drop of irrigation, as well as more yield for field of cultivated land. Although land available for agriculture is declining, there is still scope to increase productivity from it, mainly because we are far behind most countries in per hectare yield. With the new technology, improved seeds, rationalized crop rotation and balancing soil chemistry, etc., we can obtain much more crop from the available land. Genetically improved seeds, which are being scoffed at due to lack of proper education and information, can enhance productivity greatly. So thank you.